Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so walking, having a good day so far. If you hear any screaming behind me, they're doing some type of shoot, both upstairs and downstairs. These folks trying to record something professional, so I don't know if they're together or not, but it's a lot going on. But yeah, I had a good day so far. I went to Target as usual, but this time I bought myself some jeans and some basketball shorts. Remember, I bought the basketball shorts that I had to take them back, get refunds because they were too big. But I tried these on, tried the jeans on, loved how they fit, so I went with both of them. Cost about 60 bucks. And of course, I did my grocery shopping and all that. So I just wanted to get myself some new jeans since, to be honest with you, I didn't have a full, 6 in rotation? Like, that's literally what I have in jeans. So I had to invest in some new ones. So I think I did pretty good, man. And the last time I bought jeans, my size had gone down, so I had to refit myself. And so that's kind of how that went. But now it's like 3 o'clock and I'm trying to figure out how I want to play it. Do I want to take the bus home and then probably still not have enough time to do my 100s? Or I can use this time to lock in exercise that would be otherwise walking home. Because I probably ain't going to do the 100s either way. So it's like, I got time to walk home. But if I catch the bus and try to do my 100s, I ain't going to have time because Bible study's at 4:30. And so my thinking is, let's lock in this. This is exercise for the day. I also kept the idea of keeping heavier squats. Same rep, same number. But now I took all of the paper 500 sheets that I had done art on, locked in my suitcase at this point. It's rather than leaving on top of the desk. I didn't realize until now, more or less, it didn't dawn on me that I could put that in the suitcase and use that as weight. So instead of going back to the normal weight that I've been using after taking all that stuff out of there, I'm like, man, I kind of want to stay where I'm at, you know, and I want to increase the weight. So yeah, that's what I've done. So I did 5 sets of that and more extra stretching, you know, just trying to get back in shape, man, trying to get my physique back. I lost it all, it felt like anyway, but this morning I took my shirt off and I see it coming back. So now I'm like, all right, I want to lock in heavier weight from here on out. The squats I was doing ain't enough resistance apparently, so that's what we're doing. We're gonna keep that up. But yeah, man, it's a good day. It's a little hotter than usual, but it ain't crazy hot or nothing. Probably about 80 at the most. A little breeze. Hollywood was nice and vibrant because it's a Sunday, so that was a thing. And what else is going on? I don't really know, man. I got a 50-minute Laker rant uploading that I encourage everybody to check out when it finally does upload. I don't know how far away from uploading it is, but you know, just talking about the team as usual, trying to keep up with everything that I'm seeing there, and it ain't a whole lot of good for those of us Laker fans. We are in a very mediocre year, so it ain't a whole lot of fun right now for us, but it's enough to talk about, I guess. But yeah, man, I don't really have nothing to say right now. Nothing I really wanted to get into too much. Same old stuff that's going on in Gaza. You guys know about that. You've heard me talk about it. I haven't heard anything new other than them continuing to attack people the same way they were. There's actually nothing new that I've heard. So I wish they had more to say in regards to that. But be informed, get involved. Go check out some of my old therapy sessions where we've talked a lot more about it, and understand that there's something that Americans need to know a lot about. They need to know what's going on over there. I can tell you what I can share. There's always something that comes to mind. So it was this lady this morning. I don't remember who put me on this group, but it's a group for people who are having deep issues in their life on Facebook. And when they need a prayer, they ask for prayer. It's usually something terribly deep, like somebody terminal or something like that in their family. I always see it pop up. I never actually left this group. I just stayed in it. I don't remember when I was put in this, been in there for years. But this lady who said this morning that she's terminally ill. and you know, she's distraught about it, and she doesn't feel like, you know, the diagnosis is wrong, but she's praying and asking all of us to pray for her because she feels like she's on her way, you know, to a space where she's losing hope and she's not quite ready to go. She feels like she have a lot of life to live, and just a really sad situation there. And she, you know, the specific prayer was, please pray for me to get a different diagnosis, even though I don't feel it's possible. A miracle would be great right about now, because I got a lot of life to live. And I'm like, okay, yeah, damn. And I looked on her profile, and the first thing I see on her profile is an Israeli flag. Now, not everybody in Israel is a bad person, although many will argue everybody there shouldn't be. I could argue everybody here shouldn't be if we're going by that standard. You understand what I'm saying? Because the issue is, even the good ones are bad over there because they're on occupied land. Well, guess what, everybody? Everybody here is on occupied land. It's just a lot of years later from the time when it was actually taken. But ain't none of us any less guilty than them for us walking around out here acting like this is our country. It's not. You've taken it. You stole it. And the people here that you are voting for are upholding the right to maintain order on land that was stolen. So that's really what it is. And when I look at people in Israel, especially those who are standing up against the occupation, I say that they're a shining light for who Israel should want to ultimately be remembered as. Not those who are doing the wrong, but those who stood up against it. And those people deserve to have their flag waved and their children saved and their honor upheld. And I've seen enough of them to know they exist. So I'm not comfortable with down with everything under the flag there. No different than I'm not comfortable with down with everything under the flag here. There are good people everywhere. Unfortunately, a lot of good people benefit from a lot of bad stuff that they have absolutely no control over. And it's up to them, in being good people, to raise their voice against that. I don't know where this lady who suffers on this group that was asking for prayer stands on all that. All I know is she had that flag up. She had that flag in a space where when you want to stand for something, you know how it is when you have it on your avatar, you put the little flag. A couple years back, Black Lives Matter, American flag, when you know, whatever the flag is that you want to, or whatever the cause is, you can put it on the right hand bottom of your avatar by way of an app opportunity on Facebook. So whatever your thing is, if you really want to, you can find it and put it there. So I'm sure most of us who are savvy enough on Facebook have seen this a million times in one way or another. But hers was the Israeli flag. And the first thing I was thinking is, I don't want to pray for this person. And the Lord told me already, this is not how I'm supposed to operate, whether the person's good or bad, whether the person's right or wrong. You don't withhold prayers for them because I can do a lot of good things through anyone. But my thinking was, if she is standing for the right that it seems that she's standing for, then she's wrong in her life. Now, whether or not she deserves to die, I don't know. It depends on how far into it she's going. Like, for me, I don't think everybody who's on the wrong side of history deserves to die. But some of the people who are fighting for the right to be on the wrong side of history probably be a better world if they weren't here. I'll say that. But it's not my place to say that she deserves to die. But just the same, as hard as it's been to watch what is going on in Gaza, it's equally hard to see people support it. To assume they're as knowledgeable as I am is a difficult thing to actually wrap my head around, because I really don't think everybody can be assumed to have been knowledgeable about everything. Some people just buy propaganda. Some people just believe the bullcrap they're told and don't have anybody like myself to tell them otherwise. So I don't know where this lady lands. I have no way of knowing. All I know is she's asking for prayers, and the fight in me, that fire in me that is fighting for this cause, had to really wrestle with the idea that I'm not supposed to celebrate is what is happening to her, based on what it is that she appears to support. That's how real this has gotten for me, people. That's what I'm telling you. It's gotten so real that when somebody tells me that they support that, I don't have a problem with them leaving the earth, because that's how much carnage and how much trauma Israel is inflicting upon Gaza that I've seen with my own eyes. That's how real it is for us. For those who've been paying attention to this for 160 days, you tell me you have a terminal illness and you support them, it's hard for me not to feel good about that. Seriously. As evil and as wicked as that sounds, that's how much of a war that is for myself personally. And I'm transparent with everybody. When I struggle, I never withhold it from y'all, because that's the purpose of me doing this. I don't know where she lands on the spectrum. For all I know, she's just born there, raised there, and that's the only thing she knows. But when it comes to you supporting what is going on there, or fighting for the right to continue to do it, the world is truly a better place with you not on it. And you need to know that. Not just because it's my opinion, but because people are dying because of that support. Children are being terrorized because of that support. And whether you think that's right or wrong doesn't change the truth that that is something that traumatizes the rest of us, that we don't want to have nothing to do with, that we don't want to support, that we don't appreciate others supporting, and we think we're right for it. I believe I'm right for that. I don't believe God wants me to withhold prayers for that lady, but I can tell you I have not sent them to him as of yet. I have not. And I wrestle with that for everything I've already said. But the truth of the matter is, if she were to tell me, well, I don't care about what happens to the people of Gaza, well, ma'am, I definitely care about what happens to you. I want you gone. Just being honest. It ain't limited to her, that's to everybody. Everybody who will uphold the right to occupy Palestine. Which ain't right. They don't have a right to do it, but that's the best way you can describe what it is that they're trying to uphold. The ability and the reasoning for terrorizing young children, babies, starving people out. Like, whatever she's going through, whatever I'm going through, it ain't half as bad as what Israel's doing to those people, is what I'm saying to you. Not even a tenth. Not a tenth is bad. She could die in agonizing pain and it won't be a tenth as bad as what they've done to those people. And when you see it with your own eyes, and you see it every day, hell no, you don't feel good about people who support that. You don't feel nothing for them. You think they're the terrorists of the earth. The worst of the worst. And that's exactly what I'm sharing with y'all. My struggle in not celebrating this in regards to what's happening to her based on what it is she appears to support. And I imagine that's the same evil and the same hatred that allows them to do that to people. They too celebrate the sufferings of others in the name of what it is they support. You see how that works? That's why it's a war, because I'm not stupid in a way that allows me to just go along with it. I know I should be not different. I know I should not feel that way. I know that that's the point of that type of energy, is to transfer it into me and then make me worse than it. I know this. That's why I describe it the way that I do. That's why I try to bring other angles into the conversation so you understand that I'm not oblivious to what it is the enemy's trying to do here. I'm just telling you that, like, as a human being, when you see so much suffering, and then you see somebody celebrating that suffering, and then you hear of them going through something that suffers them, it's hard not to celebrate that. Hard. It is what it is, man. And it's not my call to say whether she deserves to suffer, whether she needs to go to hell, or whatever her fate will be, whether she needs to get a blessing. That's not my call. Just like it's not Israel's call for all them kids to suffer and all those poor people to die and all this other weird stuff that they're upholding the ability to receive support for doing. and the lies that they tell people about what it is that they're doing there and why they should continue to support them. And so that's what I'm here to tell you. For all I know nothing at all. For all I know, I could have been born there myself and not know any other place but that. And then what? I would have to be strong enough, smart enough, and independent of a thinker enough, and in a space from which to go against what the grain is enough to go against what comes naturally to the propaganda that's placed upon my country. In order to not receive that hate from a stranger, which will come so naturally to me in regards to somebody like her. It takes a lot of strength and intellect and boldness to say my country's overall intentions are something that I don't vibe with, while everyone around me or many around me are going to jail, are raised in a world where it's okay to put people in jail for this. You got to understand what the propaganda is. If you're not in there doing that, they're sending you to jail for not. So in that environment, how can I think otherwise than to think it's fine for this to happen? In that environment, how can I think otherwise than to think this is what is normal? This is what should be upheld. You see how easy it is for us to believe in propaganda that's no good for us? It's easy for us to believe in the idea of eating things and drinking things and smoking things that can put us in a position to have cancer. So is it too far gone for us to fathom a world where people are raised in a space where the things that we think are absolutely wrong are normal and, dare I say, celebrated? It takes an extreme, unique trait within a person to step away from what it is that they know, from what it is that is normal, from what it is that is ultimately put in place for them to be normal, while agreeing with it. And that the idea of going against said ideas are to be punished. As warped up into not breaking the law as we are, as warped up into our cultures of the things that we support, the things that we don't think twice about, but would be very uncomfortable if they were ripped from under our feet. Those are the things that essentially we're asking them to overcome in order to come to the side for which makes sense and which is right. That's how strong that propaganda is upon their skulls. That's how messed up they treat those who go against said propaganda. Listening to individuals not be able to rationalize their way through right and wrong as it pertains to Israel occupying Gaza and torturing those people for the betterment of the comfort of the people in Israel. They think they have a right to do that. They are taught they have a right to do that, and they are taught that it is wrong to think otherwise. The crux of the issue is not that belief. It's in the upholding of that propaganda, which terrorizes the minds of those who otherwise go against it and terrorizes the people of whom it is pointed against. There needs to be a direct connection between what makes sense to all of us in the outside world watching this and those who are warped by that propaganda. It doesn't need to just be people wiping people out or celebrating other people's death. That's what the enemy wants. That's not a solution. The solution is to reach the minds of the ignorant. No different than it is in our country when we see people celebrating certain cults or certain political spectrums that are cult-like, that aren't attached to anything reasonable. It's the ignorant that this propaganda works upon. It's the weak of the mind that this propaganda tends to draw in. And no solution is found in violence and wiping people out for their beliefs. It's found in teaching individuals and debunking what is believed but does not tie into anything that makes any sense. Disarming logic that is not logical at all and making people ask the most difficult of questions so that their minds can change on their own based on what it is that cannot be disputed. That is what needs to happen. Because you can go to war with people and they're going to die on the hill they believe in. Or you could take the lies within what it is they believe in and disrupt those lies with the truth that cannot be denied. That is how you attack this problem. With logic, with connection, with conversations of a very intelligent kind. With proof, with patience, and with the understanding that there are going to be people who slip through the cracks and believe the nonsense just because they're too far gone. But that won't be the most of them, because the majority of individuals just need understanding, logic, and their lies that they believe in to be provided some disarming and the proof of what it is that they believe in to be understood as propaganda placed upon their skulls for no other reason than to keep them moving in a direction that does not bring forth any compassion toward their lives. And when they are disarmed of all of the lies, then they're left with the understanding that either they must change or they must die with the lies they believe in. And many will choose to change. Because most individuals are waiting for an opportunity for logic to be inserted into the nonsense they believe in. It's called waking people up, fam. That's the only true way to win this war. It's the only true way to win any war. It's knowledge, understanding, and the disarming of lies that are often believed in. If you want to know how to defeat the devil, that's how you defeat him. Not with war, not with famine, not with celebrating people suffering, not with holding prayers, not with forcing the truth without proper implementation of the disarming of the lies within those things. Because you have to be able to effectively disarm them of the lies. You gotta be able to show them what it is that it's there for. Why they are told to believe this, why they were pushed in a direction that would otherwise make it so that they would believe such warped things. They need to know why. Disarm the lies, give them the whys. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen in Israel. I'm telling y'all the truth. Because a lot of the stuff that they are doing, that they go along with, they only go along with it because they were told to go along with it. No different than us in Sunday night football. And, rap culture, which tells us to hate ourselves. And rape culture that ultimately puts us in a position to worsen in every way the safety of people. And all different types of stuff that we don't identify the why it's there. We just go along with it and don't care. The warped nature of smoking cigarettes, knowing that they kill you. The warped nature of eating foods that are going to make you sick, knowing that it killed everybody you know, knowing that it's going to send you out of here early. These are things we need to know why those weapons have been placed in our midst to kill us. We need to know why they're there. Then we can make the conscious decision to step around the poison that's ultimately put in place for us to kill ourselves. But you got to know that it is that and why it's there. You got to know why the world is trying to teach you how to hate yourself and hate others and hate everything but money. You got to know that that is a weapon pointed against you. That if we're not the logic to understand why it is, we'll prosper. seen a man coughing today. He was coughing his lungs up. Likely a smoker of 40, 50 years. He probably know so many people who died smoking. We do so many things that are unhealthy for us, but then we'll never walk in the street because we don't want to get hit by a car. We will stuff our face full of things that kill us slowly, but are afraid of heights, so we won't go up so high. Like, we need to understand, like, some of this stuff, if not for the agreement to do it, we would react to it the same way. If not for the culture and the propaganda in place that'll make us want to go toward those things, we would avoid them like we avoid anything else we don't want to die of. And this is what I'm trying to absorb and then speak about. Some of this stuff is just wickedness that's been in place for so long that we've forgotten or never knew that it was that. Stuff that was put in place to control our numbers so that not a lot of us or not everybody survives too damn long. Do you understand what I'm saying? An unnatural selection. That's what a lot of this stuff is. They trying to knock you off. And a lot of the people who are upholding it don't even know to think of that. That's what we need to understand. A lot of this stuff has been in place for so long that a lot of the people who uphold it need the same thing applied to their skulls, so they stop upholding it. They don't even know how not to. This is just what people do. Until you realize that it was put in place by someone who didn't want people to be at all. They were hoping to kill the world with this nonsense. They were hoping to create chaos and devilish energy based on what it is that they were about years and years and years before we even got here. A lot of this stuff is just from the deep hatred of people who lived before we even have books to tell us when they lived. And they were implementing practices that they were hoping would destroy the world for years to come. I'm telling you, man, a lot of this stuff ain't about nothing but death. Demons who walked the earth years and years ago, and the practices that they implemented into the world with their power, because they hated literally that. And we keep that stuff going. So this is what I'm telling all of us. This is what I tell myself when I watch this video. Don't uphold what hurts you and others if you have a desire to survive. If it's food practices, if it's propaganda, if it's hatred, if it's any damn thing. If you don't want to walk in the street and get hit by a bus, you should too avoid those things as well. Because they'll kill you just the same. You ain't gonna play Russian roulette with your head? Don't do some of those things. Because they kill you. It's just that we're warped into a space where we want to do things that kill us, and we don't ask the hard questions like, why? Why do we want to do these things? We want to do these things because other people did these things. But you see the consequences of those things, and when it goes down the way that you know it will, we don't waver. And that's a warped system from which our behavior is into, and we need to stop that. We need to desire to survive from all angles, not just the ones that are most obvious to us. And so that's what it is I'm telling all of you guys, man. When I looked at that lady and I saw that post that she posted, and then I looked at what she was supporting, I just saw some very, very different version of what it is I just described. That would otherwise make people hate her and support her dying. If there are informed in enough ways to know what it is that she supports and what it is that ultimately she's upholding. In the same way that this propaganda works against her, what it is that I'm describing that we think is comfortable works against us. It may not have the same consequences, just the same, but it does have the same idea as a sense to where it's going to make us worse and ultimately get us gone. Poor foods, poor messaging, putting objects above substance in life. These things are meant to make us lesser in the eyes of those around us. However you believe that to be. Having us wearing hate me objects that ultimately don't do nothing but put a target on your back. Having you engage in behavior that ultimately is going to leave you in danger. Upholding cult-like behaviors in the streets that ultimately weaponize you against people that you are literally fond of in life, if not for those cultures. Some of this stuff ain't meant to do nothing at all but eliminate you. Nothing at all. That's all it's here to do. And we uphold it just like the devil wants us to do. You see the war that Brick Baby's going through because of his political affiliations and his friendship with someone who otherwise may have disrespected that affiliation. So now he feels like he's in danger if he doesn't uphold a certain behavior that weaponizes his strength, more or less, against his friend and his friend's political position. It's like this is bullshit. All of it. All of it. If that's your friend, he shouldn't be in a position to even offend you with anything. Nor should you be tied to anything that would otherwise make it so that you're a weapon against him for anything that comes out of his mouth. That is a culture in place to destroy you and keep you from being in numbers with the people that you would otherwise choose to be in numbers with by way of proximity and an agreement to be organized in such a way that is only meant for the prison system, that is only truly working in the prison system, for which every bit of this nonsense is supposed to hoard you into and glorify to make you want to be there. Don't you see that? They want you in jail. They want you dead. You've chosen a friend that has a different political position than you, and now you got to be angry at him just to be safe in your own situation? Why are you in that situation by choice? That's what I say to Big Baby. We got to get up out of this ignorance. We get so much money, but can't shake off the ignorance. And you see how the devil will trick you out of your position? Because you're trying to uphold something that ain't meant to do nothing but glorify him, who wants to destroy you. I'm saying this to everybody who's doing this, in every hood, everywhere. That's all it's for. You ain't doing nothing positive with that. You're choosing enemies by way of what it is that you stand for. Enemies that would otherwise be your friends, your allies. And it wasn't even meant to do that. But you uphold it. Why? Because that's what we do. No, that ain't. Don't you see? Don't you see that's the same thing I've just been describing for the last 30 minutes? It's the same thing. It's just a different way. It's a different way. And if we're going to be of the mindset where we look at what this lady's doing in regards to what she upholding, we got to invert that thought and see how we engage in that same demonic behavior in our own propaganda, in our own practices and warped cult-like behaviors. It's not different. It's just a different subject, but it's the same copy and paste placed upon our skulls to destroy us. And it's being done all over the world in a million different ways, but it's still the same formula. You gotta know why it's there. And then you gotta walk away from it and be strong enough to do so. And you gotta be able to bring it to a space where it is disarmed from being wanted, tolerable, or even useful to any of us. If you know why it's there, then all you're gonna do is step around it. If you know what its intended function is and who thought of it and how much they hated you, you would not involve yourself in any of it. You would step around it just like anything else that's meant to kill you that you don't want to be dying from. This may have been one of the most important videos I did, man. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.